So I've been on record in the past talking about how much I absolutely am a Nintendo shill. I don't like the whole console wars, Xbox versus Sony versus Nintendo. I think it's stupid, but if I had to choose one, I would probably be a Nintendo fan. That's mostly because of the platformers that I grew up playing. Things like Super Mario 64, Mario Galaxy. I'm just going to name a bunch of Mario games if I sit here and do that. But a lot of the platforming Mario games kind of establish this huge connection and love between myself and everything Nintendo makes. So to say I love platformers just in general would be an understatement. That's probably my favorite genre, maybe my second favorite genre of games. So when Sony announced that their 2020 successful, pretty much like mechanical test, Astro's Playroom was going to be getting a fully fledged, basically platforming kind of exploration-esque game, I was very excited for it. I've covered it in a few videos here on the channel, and I said how I was very excited for this game and how it seemed like it was going to be a success, and that this is the game that Sony really needed to make, because I think that this will show, and hopefully it does and has with just how highly rated this game has been, that these are the types of games that Sony needs to make more of, not Concord type of games. So Astro Bot came out on September 6th, and it's absolutely incredible. Pretty much every aspect of this game is a home run for me. I mean, the character design, obviously, of Astro, I think is just perfect. I think it encapsulates everything that Sony wants in a mascot, and if they're stupid enough to not make Astrobot kind of like the official face of PlayStation, I think that's a huge missed opportunity. But even the enemy designs in this game are just so fun. A lot of them were in Astro's Playroom, right? Like they already had some really cool designs in there, and the ones that they've added on in this game are just as good, if not better. They rival like the Goomba kind of iconic designs that Mario brings to the table, but for PlayStation. I think that the world design and the level design here is also just top notch. It's just gorgeous to look at, and the art direction for this game, whoever decided that they wanted to make this game this vibrant, this colorful, this like almost cartoony, they need a huge raise, because it just looks so good. It's funny because when I was playing this game, I had the crazy idea to break out my PlayStation Portal and use that for a good majority of the game, and it definitely improved how much I enjoyed it, mostly because this game just kind of feels like it should be played in a handheld version. Obviously, games like Mario Odyssey come to mind. When that game came out, I was pretty much only playing it in handheld mode. It's funny because when games like Mario Galaxy came out, it felt like a Wii game. Like it felt like a game that should be played on the Wii. And when Mario Odyssey came out, for some reason, at least to me, I had more fun with it when it was on the handheld mode. Sorry, my brain just like gave out mid-sentence. But with Astrobot, it kind of is that blend. It feels a lot like Mario Odyssey, where when you're playing it on your big screen or on your monitor, it just feels really good. It's vibrant, it's colorful, it's responsive, it's just pleasing to look at. But when I was playing it on my PlayStation Portal, it just like amplified it times like 4, even though I still have my own opinions on the Portal and I think it's kind of shitty for the most part still. I really had some fun value with it, and Astrobot pretty much is going to be the only thing I ever play on this thing. Back to the game itself. Everything in here outside of like the story of the game, I think makes this game of the year for me. The story of the game is it's just like a typical like platformer. There's not really like a huge emphasis on story, but for what's there, you do kind of get invested in it. Obviously, there's no talking, like there's no words being said. It's just a bunch of noises between the bots, but it's super easy to follow and it's super easy to understand. With that, all of the main cameo kind of bots, I'm trying not to spoil much here because there's a lot here to be surprised about and a lot that surprised me with the game, and I want everybody to get the chance to experience it. But a lot of the main bots, like everybody knows that the Kratos kind of disguised Astrobot is in this game. Now, After you meet him, there's a section where you get to play as this Kratos kind of Astro Bot, and it's literally like a mini level of God of War Ragnarok. It's crazy to me how they were able to do this. Obviously, they're able to do it because it's a Sony studio, yada, yada, yada. But I think the fact that it captured that feeling and kind of that funness of, say, a God of War Ragnarok level just in a very, very small, compact sphere and more platform-based was really cool to me. And this happens a couple more times in the game. Again, not going to spoil it because I think everybody should experience it for themselves, but there's a lot to look forward to while booting up this game for the first time. I had some discussion with a good friend of the channel, Alex, or podcast now. I feel like I mention him in every single video, but we were talking about how this game kind of holds up to the rest of this year. And just to me, in general, I loved Final Fantasy Rebirth. I thought that game was phenomenal. It was obviously a very heartfelt and very impactful story, but to me, Astrobot is just more fun because I can just pick it up, I can just play the entire time. I'm smiling the entire time. No matter what power up I get, I'm happy. No matter what level I'm on, if I have to go back because I miss a bot, I don't mind doing that. And this game really rewards you for wanting to explore every single level. Obviously, this game is like maybe 12 hours long. It's not a long game whatsoever, so that might turn some people off from wanting to purchase it. But for me, I don't really care. I'm not one of those people who thinks that money equals the amount of hours a game should have. I think that's the stupidest argument on the planet, if you want my honest opinion, because for me, it's always going to be quality over quantity. And the fact that I had more fun in the 12, 13 hours that I got out of this game, I'm still not 100% done. I need like 3 or 4 more trophies, and then I've 100% platinumed the game. But for me, I had more fun just blasting through the main part of this game and trying to find all of the more challenging platforming levels and things like that than I had living through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because to me, you are living that game. That game is literally like a life choice you have to make. But in this game, it just feels like a fun game. You can also tell that Astrobot just is a love letter to Sony in general. I've said multiple times on this channel that I grew up on the Xbox side of things. I never had a PlayStation. The first PlayStation I owned was technically I owned a PSP, but I traded it in for the 3DS when the 3DS came out. So to me, the first real PlayStation hardware I ever owned was a PlayStation 4. One of my good friends gifted me back when I lived in my hometown, just because I didn't have a computer at the time and I just didn't have anything to play. He gave me his PlayStation 4 for a while to use, and that kind of introduced me to everything Sony, and I've become a very fond of the company. And Astrobot is just a love letter to all of its history. I'm stealing Alex's words here because I think he just said it best in his video. I'll link it in the description because I'm not trying to steal his work here, but he said that you can tell that the developers behind Astrobot love gaming. And I think that's 100% true. You can tell with every single level, every single ability, every little nod to the history of Sony, that the dev team here just loves games, and they know that we love games, and they know why, and this game is a love letter to that. I think Astrobot is hands down the most amazing experience of 2024 for me, because I was not expecting this game to be this good. I was expecting it to be fun. I was expecting it to be really good. Did I think that the second it came out, it was going to be Game of the Year material and was going to literally make me forget about every other game that came out this year? No, I did not expect that. I was kind of expecting Black Myth Wukong to be that, but from where I'm sitting right now, Astrobot is my Game of the Year. It's so good, and if you don't feel that way, that's totally okay. I get it. Platformers are not for everybody, especially platformers designed kind of in the sphere. I understand that it's not for everybody, but I think that Astrobot itself is exactly what Sony needed to do. I said this in the Concord shutting down video, but the fact that Concord got basically pulled the day that Astrobot came out is so ironic, because Astrobot, again, encapsulates encapsulates, is that even a fucking word? Astrobot captures every single thing that I think Sony needs to do going forward. It's a smaller experience, it's a lot quicker to get through, but the entire thing is fun. It is just a fun game to play. It's gorgeous, it's responsive. I said this before the game came out. I felt like Astrobot was going to really take advantage of the PlayStation 5 controller and the technology the most, and I definitely still think it does. Maybe I think Astro's Playroom probably still uses the controller a little more, just because that game was basically a tech demo and just a love letter to PlayStation's like hardware history, while Astro Bot itself is a love letter to the games that PlayStation has made over the years. But this is probably the most recommended game I could ever give to anybody, because I think this game is great for younger audiences. I think it's great if you have a kid who you're trying to introduce to games. I think it's great for older fans of PlayStation or just platforming fans in general. There really is something for everybody here. The music is amazing. Again, the character design is top notch. The world designs are just crazy. The boss fights are fun. There's really actual difficult challenges and different little hidden platforming levels that you can unlock for even more special cameo bots. I just think this game is really a 10 out of 10 for me. But if you don't, that's totally okay. I respect your opinion. That's part of this channel, right? Is I'm giving you guys my opinion, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinion in the comment section down below. We're literally like less than 200 subscribers away from 1,000, so I really appreciate the support recently. I can almost start making money on the channel, by the way. I just think that's a funny little nod. But in all seriousness, thank you guys so much for watching. YouTube though still says that 99% of you are not subscribed. What the hell? Just hit the button. It's free. I mean, there's really no downside. If you find me annoying, just don't watch the videos, but just keep me in your sub box, okay? All jokes though. If you did like the video, please subscribe. If you didn't, tell me why in the comment section down below. Totally okay. I take criticism on the chin. Don't really care. I love having discussions with people in the comment section, so go ahead and drop one down there if you feel like it. I know I've said this in some community posts too, but once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to start doing some live streams. So look forward to that if you're a long form fan of the channel. But if you're new around here, like I said, drop a subscribe. YouTube thinks that only 1% of the people that watch my videos are subscribed, which is hilarious. But with that, I've been Wicked, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.